Coming up next here on Golf America, we're heading to Western North Carolina as we'll take you around a wonderful Donald Ross designed golf course.
As you reach your arms out in front of you, I want you to push your hips back behind you.
Plus, golf fitness coach Mindy B demonstrates an exercise that can determine if there are some issues in your golf swing. And in our tip of the week, PGA professional Matt Stewart will show us how to hit out of some deep rough.
Take your stance, take your setup.
Golf America, a weekly look at the courses you play and the game we love, is brought to you by Antigua, apparel for your game. The Tour Edition Target Alignment System. Improve your game. Hit straighter, putt better with TAS. And by CyberLinksGolf.com, the home of golf course videos. Hi everyone and welcome to the program. We're in Western North Carolina this week at one of the oldest clubs in the U.S., the Country Club of Asheville, established back in 1894. And it's also home to a wonderful Donald Ross designed golf course. In 2014, Raleigh-based McConnell Golf purchased the club. A year later, they brought in golf course architect Richard Mandel to completely renovate and bring up to modern spec this fantastic Ross design. The game of golf certainly has had a long and enduring history. The first organized golf club in the U.S. opened in Charleston, South Carolina in 1786. In 1894, golf found its way to the mountains of western North Carolina when the Country Club of Asheville was incorporated. Its original course was at the Grove Park Inn, but after several location changes, the club settled at its current location in the Lakeview Park District. It was on this unique piece of property that legendary golf course designer Donald Ross left his mark in western North Carolina. Although this Ross design layout has stood the test of time, in 2016, McConnell Golf, who owns the club, brought in golf course architect Richard Mandel to update the course. Mandel made use of information he received from longtime members of the club, the Donald Ross Society, and a series of notes used in the original construction of this layout as the basis from which he worked off of in the redesign. In an effort not to waver too far from the original design, Mandel slightly reworked the green complexes and added bent grass to all 18 greens. Another example of his slight deviation from Ross's original design was the reworking of the tee boxes at hole number 1. He moved them away from the original location, thus aiding in the golfer's view of the fairway off the number 1 tee. But for the most part, the greens and the bunkering throughout this golf course have remained intact and true to the vision of what Donald Ross created here at the Country Club of Asheville.
The golf course definitely has some mountainous features to it. The one unique thing about, I would say, our layout versus maybe most mountain golf courses is the first 9 it kind of works down the mountains. Matter of fact, when you get to the 15th green and 16th tee, you can look down and see the skyline of downtown Asheville.
With a nice mix of long and short par 3s, 4s, and 5s, this golf course will have you using every club in your bag. And with its 5 sets of tees, you can choose just how much of a challenge you would like in your round. From the back black tees, this course plays to 6,677 yards, while offering a course rating of 72.3 and a slope of 133. For the ladies, the forward red tees play to 52.68. On the front side, you are eased into your rounds with holes 1 through 3.
You have one which is a dog leg to the right and down the hill. So even though from the back tee it plays 380 yards, most of your skilled players will hit a fairway wood off the tee and give them a middle to short iron into the green. Two's a very forgiving par 5. Just barely reaches 490 yards, so for the big hitters, definitely a chance of getting home in 2 and having a putt at eagle.
Par 3 third plays downhill from tee to green, so its yardage will be 1 to 2 clubs shorter than it says on the scorecard. Holes 4 through 9, the layout begins to toughen up. At 347 yards, hole number 9 is by no means a pushover as you finish up the front side. The contours on the fairway could leave you with a flat or an awkward lie as you hit into a well-tiered and protected green.
Depending on where the flag is, even a marginal shot into the green might catch the right slope and end up a whole lot better than what you had thought.
On the backside, hole number 11 is a demanding par 4.
You get a few par 4s that kind of give you a little bit of a short shot in, hopefully a scoring opportunity, but then you get to a hole like number 11 where you just have to hit a good tee shot and a good second shot.
Following 11 is hole number 12, the shortest par 4 on the golf course.
The tee shot's uphill. The second shot plays at least a club uphill.
And again, one that can be quite testy if you don't hit a good approach shot into the green.
Getting the right club from anywhere from 100 to 125, 30 yards.
Probably the toughest par 3 on the entire course is hole number 17. From the back tees, this golf hole will test even the best ball strikers.
And you're up on the hill, so you have to account for some wind always. But the 17th hole, the teeth of that hole is certainly the yardage.
The Donald Ross designed, Richard Mandel redesigned golf course at the Country Club of Asheville. A fantastic golf course that pays homage to this great game. At one of America's oldest golf clubs, owned and operated by the visionary leaders at McConnell Golf, where the tradition and honor to golf lives on. Fit for Golf and Fit for Life is brought to you by Antigua, apparel for your game.
Hi, I'm Mindy Brittner from Fit for Golf, Fit for Life, and we're here at Porter's Neck Country Club in Wilmington, North Carolina. Now, if you came to me as a golfer and you were asking my assistance with your golf swing, you want to hit farther, you want to hit better, you don't want to have any pain, you want to be injury-free, one of the first assessments I would do with you is something called the deep squat test or deep squat assessment. It doesn't require any weight. It just tells me, and it's going to tell you here in a few minutes, what your strengths and weaknesses are and what may be contributing to your inconsistency or your pain in your golf swing. So let's go ahead and try this. This is something you can do every day. I want you to grab a mirror, make sure you're in front of a mirror so you can actually see what you're doing. I want you to take your shoes off. You take your shoes off because that little bit of a heel lift in your shoe can be a little bit of a cheat. So you're going to take your feet in golf stance or a little bit wider than your hips. You're going to bring your arms out in front of you to counterbalance. As you reach your arms out in front of you, I want you to push your hips back behind you. Now, as you check yourself out in the mirror, you should have a pretty straight back. And when I say straight, you want a straight line between your head and your tailbone. As soon as you start rounding like this, your posture is broken. Something's going wrong. Okay, if you don't have any pain, you're going to keep going. If your back's nice and flat, you're going to keep going. Stop. As soon as these knees start going past your toes or your heels start to lift, we just found something. Maybe your ankles aren't as mobile as they need to be. Maybe your hips aren't as mobile as they need to be. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh, if you start to fall backwards, maybe your core's not kicking in. Start coming down, start coming down. Your goal would be that you can come down the entire way, and this should be relaxing. You can maybe move around a little bit, move to the right, move to the left, move in a circle, move your legs a little bit in a figure eight, and just kind of hang out right here. This would be the ultimate. Maybe we can go up and rotate, backswing. Bring your hand back down. Maybe you can go up into follow through. Bring your hands back down, working on your posture. And then start to come back out of it. Push through your heels, nice flat back, still staying in your golf stance or athletic ready stance, and then stand back up. That is a deep squat assessment. Before I load you, before you load yourself, which means before you put weight on your back, before you hold on to dumbbells, before you put a bar anywhere, you better be able to get into a deep squat without pain and then come back up slowly. Okay, why is that important? If you can't do that very well, it could be something wrong with your ankles, it could be your knees, it could be your hips, it could be any part of your spine.
Fit for Golf and Fit for Life has been brought to you by Antigua, apparel for your game. Our course of the week is the Country Club of Asheville, owned by McConnell Golf out of Raleigh, North Carolina. It's home to a wonderful Donald Ross designed golf course that was renovated by golf course architect Robert Mandel back in 2016. Right now we're at hole number 4. This is a great par 4 that's going to require 2 very good shots just to get aboard the dance floor in regulation and 2 very good putts to make a par on this golf hole.
From the tee to the green, number 4 is probably one, if not the most demanding par 4 on the golf course.
If you play number 4 from the back tee, you're looking at a par 4 that plays to 440 yards. And while there's plenty of fairway to hit to off the tee, there is a creek that dissects the fairway as the hole begins to bend to the right. Does it come into play? Well, for most players, probably not.
The creek is not necessarily in play straight away, but if you do stray one off to the right, it could come into play.
Even with a good solid tee shot, most golfers will be left hitting a mid to long iron into an elevated green here at number 4.
When you get to the green, now the fun begins because it's a 3-tiered green. A lot of slope. It's just one of those holes that you want to make a 4 and move on to 5 tee box. Hello, my name is Matt Stewart. I'm the Director of Golf at the Country Club of Asheville here in beautiful Asheville, North Carolina. Today I'd like to give you a golf tip on how to hit out of some deep rough. I spent a lot of time around amateurs and members throughout my PGA career, and I see one common flaw that a lot of amateurs have when they have a ball buried in deep rough and they're getting ready to attempt their shot to the green. Oftentimes what I see is they will put the golf club down behind the back of the golf ball and bury their club down in that deep grass. As they start their backswing, the club will resist through the grass, and it oftentimes mess up their timing and their rhythm. The tip I'd like to give you today is treat this rough as if you were playing out of a hazard. What I mean by that is I would like you, when you're getting ready to hit your shot, take your stance, take your setup, and hover the club right over the back of the golf ball and out of the grass, and start your swing from that point. What that will do is that will get your club going more in a steep angle of attack, both in the backswing and in the downswing, but most importantly, your club will not get any resistance from the grass as you start your backswing. I'm going to demonstrate that for you here real quick. Good solid contact, ball's on the green, got a putt for birdie. So just to recap, when your ball's buried in the rough, treat it like a hazard. Normal stance, normal setup. If you feel like the ball might jump a little bit, maybe even club down one, put the club down behind the back of the ball, but not in the grass. Hover it above the grass. Take your normal swing. Hopefully you'll get a good result and a putt at birdie. And that's your tip of the week.
There are so many wonderful benefits to being a member here at the Country Club of Asheville.
Second oldest club in the South, and it is the oldest in North Carolina, dating back to 1894.
Although it may be one of the oldest clubs in the U.S., it has also changed its address several times, until it settled in at its current location in 1976, taking ownership of the old Beaver Lake Golf Course. That move allowed the members the ability to play a fantastic Donald Ross designed golf course.
It's pretty special. You don't see many mergers or moves, as you mentioned, in the history of golf, and it's quite incredible to see what the club originally started out as and what it's shaped into today.
In 2014, Raleigh-based McConnell Golf purchased the club. Then in 2016, McConnell brought in golf course architect Richard Mandel to modernize the aging Ross design.
He changed a lot of the contours on the greens. The greens had gotten flat, and so he had a lot of character back to them, but made the pins very puttable.
Now, apart from golf, the Country Club of Asheville has so much more to offer. For tennis lovers, the club is home to 8 outdoor hard-true lighted courts, as well as 2 DecoTurf indoor courts. For the young and old alike, the Aquatic Center at the Country Club of Asheville is a place to relax and soak up some rays, or take a few laps in the Olympic-sized pool. Inside the clubhouse, you'll find a well-equipped golf shop. Both men's and women's locker rooms. The club also offers an array of dining options, from casual to fine dining.
One of the unique aspects of it is that when you join the Country Club of Asheville, it being a McConnell golf property, you're pretty much a member of 12 country clubs.
Allowing you access to golf courses from Knoxville, Tennessee to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The Country Club of Asheville and McConnell Golf, offering the best private club value from the mountains to the coast.
Really just a very social activity and fitness, wellness-driven facility throughout, not only here, but elsewhere in the organization.
Hole number 14 here at the Country Club of Asheville is a very unique and challenging par 4 as it plays uphill from tee to green. And while you'll not find a single fairway bunker on this golf hole, trouble can be found off the tee.
You've got a creek that crosses the fairway, so depending on your length off the tee, you may have to lay back with a fairway wood, which then creates a little bit longer second shot into a green.
The green here at number 14 features 2 tiers. One that works from front to back and another that goes from left to right.
When the pin's all the way in the back right, the tee shot is very, very important in the sense that you need to favor the left side of the fairway. A good tee ball down the right side of the fairway at the back right pin, and you may have to work a left to right shot around some of the trees that come into play short of the green. So again, it's another one of those par 4s. You just want to make a 4 and move on to the 15th hole.
This portion of Golf America is brought to you by CyberLinksGolf.com, the home of golf course videos. Our final look at our course of the week, the Country Club of Asheville, brings us out here to hole number 16. Now, this is a par 5 that's every bit of a 3-shot par 5.
You're You're at almost the highest point on the golf course, and from the back tee, on a clear day, you get a great view of the skyline of downtown Asheville. Modest play would be out to the right, which will create a more of a traditional 3-shot par 5.
With a stiff tailwind, the big hitters can take advantage of this elevated tee here at hole number 16 and try to hit to the fairway to the left-hand side. That has a lot of slope to it.
If you've played the shot correctly, your ball will hit the slope, take off forward, and work its way back to the right. And even the big hitters for a 600-plus yard par 5 might have a shot at 2. But it is definitely more of a traditional 3-shot par 5. Your second shot is just typically a layup. You want to avoid the creeks. It crosses the fairway and comes into play on the right.
Then on your approach into the green here at hole number 16, you'll need to hit a very accurate shot into a green that has plenty of slope to it.
The yardage on the third shot is crucial. You want to make sure you get the right club in your hand, get it up there close, and hopefully have a good look at a 4.
And that's going to do it for this week's show. We do want to give special thanks to all the good folks at the Country Club of Asheville and all the good folks at McConnell Golf. I'm Alan Hunter. For all of us here at Golf America, hit 'em long and straight, and we'll see you next time.
Golf America, a weekly look at the courses you play and the game we love, has been brought to you by Antigua, apparel for your game, the Tour Edition Target Alignment System. Improve your game, hit straighter, putt better with TAS. And by CyberLinksGolf.com, the home of golf course videos.